The samurai, a living weapon, clad in intricate armor, dealing death with a single perfect strike of his katana. We see them as masters of war, loyal only to their lord and the cold steel in their hands. But this is only half the story. The true samurai was also a poet, a scholar, and a philosopher. A man who could compose a haiku with the same precision he used to decapitate an enemy. What was the reality of this profound paradox? Here, at Ancient Lives, we draw back the paper screens of the past to reveal the truths within. Our mission is to explore these forgotten stories of discipline, honor, and sacrifice. If you wish to walk this path with us, we invite you to join our dojo. Like this video to show your readiness, subscribe to sharpen your mind, and leave a comment to share your wisdom. Now, let us begin. This is a day in the life of Kenji, a samurai serving his daimyo in the war-torn lands of 16th century Japan. For Kenji, the samurai, the day does not begin with the sound of a horn or the shout of a commander. It begins in profound silence, in the cold, gray light of pre-dawn. He awakens on a simple futon, on the tatami mat floor of his modest quarters within the castle grounds. This is a world of clean lines, of paper and wood, of stark, intentional simplicity. His first act is not to eat or to dress for war. It is to prepare his mind. He moves with a practiced, fluid grace, his movements economical and precise. He dons a simple dark kimono, its fabric whispering as he moves. He slides open the paper shoji screen, revealing not a chaotic world, but a small, perfectly raked rock garden. Mist clings to the moss-covered stones and the carefully pruned bonsai tree. This is a world in miniature, a reflection of the order he seeks to cultivate within himself. He kneels on a round cushion, the zafu, in the center of the room. He assumes the posture of zazen, the seated meditation that is the bedrock of Zen Buddhism, a philosophy embraced by many samurai. His back is straight, a pillar connecting heaven and earth. His hands are folded in his lap, forming the cosmic mudra. His eyes are half closed, his gaze resting softly on the floor before him. This is not relaxation. It is a battle waged not against an external enemy, but against the chaos of his own mind. He focuses on his breath, the simple, rhythmic act of inhalation and exhalation. Thoughts arise, memories of a past battle, anxieties about the coming day, the face of his lord, the glint of a rival's sword. He does not fight them. He observes them, like clouds passing in the sky, and lets them go, always returning to the anchor of his breath. The goal of this practice is to achieve mushin, the mind of no mind, a state of pure awareness, free from anger, fear, or ego. In the heat of battle, a single moment of hesitation, a single distracting thought, can mean the difference between life and death. A mind cluttered with emotion is a dull blade. A mind in the state of mushin is a perfectly honed, razor-sharp edge, ready to react instantly and without thought. He is also confronting his own mortality. The code of Bushido teaches that a samurai must live as if he is already dead. By accepting death in the quiet of his room each morning, he frees himself from the fear of it on the battlefield. His life is not his own. It belongs to his master. This meditation is a daily reaffirmation of that pact, a ritual of surrendering his own will to a higher purpose. As the first rays of the sun finally cut through the mist in the garden, Kenji's meditation comes to an end. He has faced his inner demons. He has sharpened his mind. He has accepted his fate. The inner battle is won. Now he is ready to face the battles of the world outside. Once the mind is forged in the crucible of silence, the body must follow. Kenji moves from his quarters to the dojo, the training hall. This is the sacred space where the art of killing is refined into a philosophy. For the samurai, swordsmanship is not just a skill. It is kenjutsu, the way of the sword, a path to enlightenment paved with lethal precision. The dojo is a place of stark beauty. Polished wooden floors, worn smooth by generations of disciplined feet. High ceilings and paper screens that let in the soft morning light. There is nothing here to distract from the singular, deadly purpose of this room. Kenji begins his practice not with his legendary katana, but with a bokken, a simple, heavy wooden sword. His training starts with suburi, the practice of repeated swings. He performs 1,000 cuts. 1,000 times he raises the heavy bokken above his head, and 1,000 times he brings it down with a sharp, explosive cry, a ki that echoes in the empty hall. This is not a mindless exercise. Each swing is a perfect, identical repetition, engraving the motion into his very soul until it becomes an extension of his will. His muscles burn, sweat stings his eyes, but his focus never wavers. This is the foundation of his art. Perfect form, achieved through endless, grueling repetition. He then moves on to kata, the choreographed patterns of movement. He moves through the dojo in a deadly dance, a solo performance against a phantom army. Every step, every block, every parry, every strike is executed with a fluid, terrifying grace. He is not just a warrior, he is an artist, and his medium is violence. This is the essence of Bushido, the way of the warrior, a strict code that demands not only martial prowess, but also absolute loyalty, discipline, and an unwavering acceptance of death. Finally, after hours of training with the bokken, he allows himself to draw his true sword, the katana. It is more than a weapon. It is considered the very soul of the samurai. He inspects the blade in the morning light, its edge impossibly sharp, its surface bearing a unique, wavy temper line, the hamon, like a landscape frozen in steel. The sword is a masterpiece of craftsmanship, a family heirloom passed down through generations. To test its edge and his skill, he approaches the tameshigiri target, a thick bundle of water-soaked rice straw, meant to simulate the density of a human torso. He takes his stance. The world seems to fall away. There is only him, the blade, and the target. He raises the katana, his movement a blur. For a split second, he is a statue of perfect potential energy. Then, with a single explosive exhale, he strikes. The blade whistles through the air, and the straw bundle falls apart, cut cleanly in two with a single flawless motion. There is no wasted energy, no hesitation, only the perfect, lethal application of a lifetime of discipline. The body and the mind are now one. He is ready. Discipline of the mind and body are but tools for a single overarching purpose: service. After his training, Kenji sheds his simple training kimono and dons the intricate, layered armor of his clan. His movements are aided by a quiet, elderly servant. Each piece, the greaves, the cuirass, the fearsome masked helmet, the kabuto, is a work of art, but also a heavy, functional piece of war equipment. He is no longer Kenji the man. He is now a samurai, an instrument of his master's will. His duty for the day is to serve as part of the personal guard for his lord, his daimyo, a powerful and ambitious warlord named Lord Ishikawa. He makes his way through the labyrinthine corridors of the castle. This is a world far removed from the Spartan simplicity of the dojo. Here, the paper screens are painted with magnificent golden tigers and cranes. The air is thick with the scent of incense, and the wooden floors are polished to a mirror shine. But beneath the surface of this refined beauty lies a deadly current of intrigue and suspicion. Every whisper in a hallway, every sidelong glance could be a sign of a brewing plot. In the Sengoku period, betrayal was a constant threat. A samurai had to be as skilled at reading the subtle cues of court politics as he was at reading an opponent's sword strike. Kenji takes his position, standing motionless in the corner of the great audience hall. His lord is meeting with emissaries from a neighboring clan. Kenji's job is to be a silent, deadly statue. His hand rests lightly on the hilt of his katana. He is a living symbol of Lord Ishikawa's power, a visible warning to all who enter. He does not listen to the words being spoken, the polite, veiled threats and false promises. He listens to the silence between the words. He watches the hands of the emissaries, their posture, the faintest flicker of their eyes. His mind, sharpened by his morning meditation, is a finely tuned sensor, alert to any sign of danger. The code of Bushido is absolute in this regard. His life is not his own. It is a tool, to be used and discarded at his master's command. If Lord Ishikawa were to be attacked, Kenji is expected to intercept the killing blow with his own body without a moment's hesitation. If his lord were to command him to commit seppuku, ritual suicide, to atone for a failure or to prove a point, he would do so without question. This is the core of his identity, a loyalty so absolute that it transcends the fear of death itself. He stands for hours, unmoving, his muscles aching under the weight of his armor. He is a silent guardian, a protector, and a potential executioner all at once. This is his service, a life of quiet tension, of constant vigilance, where a single moment of violence could erupt from the suffocating courtly etiquette at any second. As the afternoon sun begins to cast long shadows across the castle grounds, Kenji's duty as a guard comes to an end. He is dismissed, but his day is not yet over. He has one final, crucial ritual to perform. He sheds the heavy, oppressive layers of his armor, the steel and leather that define his public life as a warrior. He washes away the grime and sweat of the day in a small bathhouse, and then he dons not a uniform, but a simple, elegant silk kimono of a subdued, earthy color. He is preparing for Chano-yu, the way of tea. He makes his way not to a grand hall, but to a small, isolated tea house set within a secluded part of the castle's gardens. The path is made of uneven stones, designed to make the walker slow down, to pay attention to each step, to leave the world of strife and politics behind. The entrance to the tea house, the Nijiriguchi, is a tiny, low doorway. To enter, Kenji must bow his head and crawl through on his knees, a symbolic act of humility. Inside this space, all men are equal. Daimyo, samurai, and even a common merchant, should he be invited, leave their status and their swords outside. The tea room is a haven of profound simplicity. A small, square space with plain earthen walls, a tatami floor, and a single scroll of calligraphy hanging in the alcove, the tokonoma. The only decoration is a single, perfect flower in a simple vase. This is the world of wabi-sabi, an aesthetic of finding beauty in imperfection, transience, and simplicity. It is the absolute antithesis of the golden, ostentatious halls of the daimyo's court. Kenji is not here alone. He is joined by two other samurai. They do not speak of war or politics or duty. Inside the tea room, such topics are forbidden. Instead, they might quietly admire the craftsmanship of the ceramic tea bowl or the artistry of the calligraphy scroll. The tea master, a figure of great respect, begins the ceremony. Every movement is a form of meditation. The purification of the utensils with a silk cloth, the scooping of the vibrant green matcha powder into the bowl, the pouring of the hot water from the iron kettle, the rapid, precise whisking of the tea with a bamboo whisk, the chasen, until a perfect, jade-colored foam forms on the surface. The master presents the bowl to Kenji. He bows, takes the bowl, turns it respectfully in his hands, and drinks. The tea is bitter, earthy, and invigorating. But the ritual is not about the taste. It is about the process. It is a shared moment of profound peace and mindfulness. For a warrior like Kenji, who lives every day with the possibility of a violent death, this ceremony is an essential anchor. It is a space where he can cultivate the very qualities that the battlefield seeks to destroy: tranquility, humility, and an appreciation for the beauty of a single, fleeting moment. It is in the quiet of the tea room that he truly sharpens the blade of his spirit. This is the other half of Bushido, the path of the warrior poet, a delicate, almost impossible balance between the way of the sword and the way of the tea. As night falls over the castle, casting deep inky shadows across the paper screens, Kenji sits alone in his quarters. The smells of tea and incense still linger. By the light of a single candle, he takes out a brush and a small piece of paper. His mind, calmed by the tea ceremony and sharpened by a lifetime of discipline, is clear. He composes a haiku, a short 3-line poem about the fleeting beauty of a firefly in the summer darkness. Tomorrow, he may be called upon to ride into battle and die for his lord, and he will do so without hesitation. His life is a paradox, a constant, delicate dance on the razor's edge between creation and destruction. The samurai was the ultimate embodiment of this duality, a man of profound, often brutal violence, and exquisite, soulful refinement, a killer and a poet, a warrior and a philosopher. He walked a path where one must find beauty not just in the gentle fall of a cherry blossom, but in the cold, perfect glint of steel in the moonlight. Such was the discipline, the beauty, and the profound tragedy of their ancient lives.